Hey, so I just wanted to make this quick video to kind of explain in more detail as to why I've created this podcast in the first place. What is the motivation behind it? Um, the idea of the third place, I kind of explained in my previous videos that the third places are decreasing and everything, but that's it makes sense. It's good to bring them back, but really the deeper question is why, right? And yes, loneliness, isolation, things like that are things that kind of plague our world nowadays. But I think the deeper issue um, that kind of can be classified as the motivation for this is how fragmented we are as a global society, right? Both locally and globally in many places around the world, where kind of this overly individualistic lifestyle that we live has kind of isolated us from each other, and we're not really having conversations, right? There's a lot of political and otherwise, polarization between groups of people uh, that don't really even want to sit in the room together, and it's very like there's very like toxic exchanges back and forth, and nothing is really getting solved. And I'm not saying just for political purposes, but overall in life, in general, people are not like living life together, and it just feels very empty. Like when you have to kind of plan ahead, like well in advance to see your friends, you have to kind of fight to like alone in life. You feel like you're just fighting against the whole world, and I feel a lot of people are probably feeling that way. And also the fact that I think for a lot of us are kind of missing a mutual uh, mission, being on the same mission together. I think that's what we need to be. We need to be, in my opinion, on the same mission of making the world a better place, each in our own way. But it's not, it often feels like we're not doing that, right? It often feels like everyone's kind of looking out for themselves. Everyone, or mostly everyone, is like in survival mode. There are people who are trying to make a difference. I'm not saying 100% of people are like this, but I guess life in a way has guided a big portion of society to just kind of be, I don't want to say self-serving, but like just looking out for their best interests, and I don't know what the end result is, right? I know like a lot of people are surviving, so this is not a critique on most people in society. I just feel like we're like prioritizing the wrong things. I think the idea of togetherness is probably a lot more valuable. Um, Together we can achieve probably a lot more than we can achieve individually. Um, but we really don't have the infrastructure, the habits to kind of sit together and do it on a regular basis, and kind of do it more like impulsively instead of like planning ahead well in advance, not knowing our neighbors, right? Um, so really this comes down to being on that like mission together, right? And I don't know if this is gonna be able to kind of make any sort of change in society, but I do want to encourage through this podcast more leaders to be created, to kind of take initiative in their communities to become the change that they wish to see in the world. Um, because the way that things are going right now, very rarely I see new communities coming up. Very few people are actually engaging in community building. It's very infrequent, uh, and I think we can do better than that. So this is really what the central point of this podcast is. How can we bring that togetherness back? How can we bring the mission of building a better world together to the forefront of society? One community at a time. Thanks, and see you next time.